This is Sig Sauer, a global leader in the defense, shooting, and hunting industries. Sig Sauer is the only truly integrated firearms, ammunition, suppressors, and optics manufacturer in the world. Sig Sauer is helping to modernize the U.S. military with several major programs, bringing the next generation of pistols,
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're having a wonderful night tonight. Tonight we are wrapping some things up, you could say, but also going to develop some or talk about some developing case technology from a very exciting new program that maybe should have been what we actually went with instead of the 68x51 277 SIG Fury. But helping me along the way, we have Richard, Bones, and Hawkeye. How is everybody's night going tonight?
It's great, my man. It is great.
Okay, how you doing,
Fantastic.
buddy?
I'm having a great time right now. I love cartridges, so I'm excited.
Yeah.
I love bullets, Charlie. I love bullets.
Well,
Yeah.
before we get into that, somebody asked, Trench was bribed by SIG. No, they offered to take Trench out to their big manufacturing facilities and whatnot, so he could see how it was done. Basically, get a factory tour is essentially it, so that you could have a positive opinion on their manufacturing process, because they're going to walk you through what they want you to see. So he turned them down, though. He wanted to actually test their stuff, privately rather than just rather than actually.
Hold on, wait, let me check. And nope, I haven't gotten an email from him yet.
No, I don't think that's coming, Richard. That's not going to happen for us. we are not on that. We are not on that list. Logan sucks at shooting for $10 says, are we gate and lay tonight? Very gate and lay. One of my favorite buildings in Age of Empires 2. But I think Logan's actually out in Washington right now. Sorry to dox you, but for the big match this weekend. So I think he's already out there. So I hope you're doing well out there, homie. So Richard, what are your thoughts over the last couple of days and the last couple of videos that have been out on the channel with some of the responses we got from around the internet?
Well, one of the most prevalent things that I noticed was the amount of P320 owners who do not understand what MIMD parts are.
Oh, damn. M26 is streaming over us right now. I didn't realize we scheduled a stream at the exact same time. I should just invite them on. Gosh darn it. But they don't understand MIMD, stamped, or per capita, apparently. Very difficult concept for some of these people to get.
Yeah. They got hung up on the exact specifics and one number. And I tried to explain that, look, even if that isn't the number and the number is significantly smaller, some people were saying, oh, it's like 3 cents. And I said, okay, well, that's significantly worse because now they're putting safety at risk over pennies. That makes it significantly worse. So even if it is one number and not a number, the number is irrelevant. It's
significant amount.
It was funny. So in Ian's video, in his commented response, which is a snide little Reddit post, he was like, "Oh, the dollar number doesn't even matter. I'll concede that." And I was like, "Well, that was the whole point of your video, bro. So congratulations." But also, you reached out to him to see if he would want to come on and talk.
I did.
How did that go for you?
Well, to his credit, he did respond rather quickly. And he did say no. Sorry to spoil everybody's get everybody's hopes up and then spoil it, but he will not be coming on. And he said he doesn't have any answers right now to the issues that are going on, and that he would rather not speculate on what the causes might be for 2 hours. And I said, that's fine. I appreciate you getting back to us. And I also appreciate the fact that you at least admit that there are issues, unlike Mac.
Right. Yeah. I think that is the one takeaway from the last few days is that everybody hates the Mac video. no matter what side of the spectrum that you're on, the Mac video was garbage. Yeah.
Including Ian.
There wasn't any point to the video. The minute there was a SIG rep on, it's not like Well, it was like a 5-minute interview. No, it was almost an hour, and the SIG rep's
Yeah.
not going to say, "Yeah, we did stuff wrong." That opens them up to lawsuits. So I clicked off. I couldn't even bother to watch it.
Trench says the flights to India were actually cheaper than I expected. Super friendly crew over at SIGSAR. Yeah. The which we should talk about. So let's bring up the first funny thing before we get into the main course, the cartridge debate. But Sig Sauer did release this video today, Sig Sauer, setting the standard for innovation, which is a very hyper tactical trailer. So we'll just let this play in the background. As the cinematography is fantastic, looks very cool. There's a couple little things in the video that I did want to mention, but the comments, they are turned off.
Where'd they go?
The comments they're all gone. Now, what's funny is when I checked this morning, they even had the likes and dislikes turned off.
Bruh.
So the likes are back on. So there's only 400 likes on the video. But originally the likes and dislikes turned off. The comments turned off. So there was no public input on this video whatsoever. Because Sig was not feeling very good. Again, the video looks great. Fantastic. Very well edited. They probably paid like some ridiculous dollar amount. It might be 6 figures for this video production, because that is very expensive. But when you got government contracts, they do talk about all of their manufacturing plants, except for one or two.
That does not look like India, sir.
They missed a couple, but we'll talk about that in just a minute. They did have one thing in here that I really wanted to talk about, that I just found funny because it's applicable to modern drone warfare. I don't know if you caught this, Richard, but you missed it. It was really fast, but yes, that is actually a ported P320 on a drone, which doubles as a suicide drone when it runs out of ammo.
Now, the important thing to notice here is that they're holding it sideways, so it's Chicago warfare style.
Well, it is also a black drone. It is a black. So, ooh, better late than never. But oh yeah, the video looks great. I do want to show the drone in action because there is nothing more scary than a P320 strapped to a drone flying around. Yep. I just thought that was quite funny. But other than that, the trailer looks great. Very good job. But they did miss one of the plants, though, that they didn't mention. This was back in 2024, very late last year. 6 Hour and Nibby Defense announced joint venture in India. This is very funny. 6 Hour is meeting the increased international demand for our products by solidifying key partnerships across the globe, began Ron Cohen, president of 6 Hour. This important new alliance in India serves to meet that demand in one of our most significant regions for growth in the coming decades. The joint venture with Nibba Defense gives SIG an expanded presence, greater customer engagement, and new collaboration opportunities to meet India's growing needs. Now, if you're not familiar, since 2019, India has purchased, I think, 150,000 different rifles from SIG. I think they're one of the few countries that actually runs the SIG 716 as their main rifle. And so there is a big interlink between SIG and India, which I do find quite funny. Also, the manufacturing allegedly over there is very cheap. All right.
I don't think it's allegedly. I think
it's not allegedly.
Well, correct. I mean, that's something, yeah, that we can say for sure. We don't need to say allegedly for that. It is very cheap manufacturing there. Well, whatever the real dollar amount is, it doesn't matter. Now,
somebody has to pay for those safety sandals.
Yeah, the OSHA standards are quite a bit less restrictive. Noob Actual for $4.99 says, every time I see Hawkeye, I think of MASH. Great show and stream. Well, thank you very much for the $4.99 nib. Nib. I was thinking of Nib of Defense. Noob Actual. Appreciate it, sir. Stealth for $2 says 20-inch barrel revival. Maybe everybody's talking about how to get more velocity out of a gun. Maybe you could just make the barrel longer, Return to Monkey. 6 Hour for $4.99 says Hawkeye looks like he spends every weekend off from GameStop looking to lose his virginity. Good luck. Wow, that uncalled for. Uncalled for, but very funny, Sig. Thank you for that.
I love it.
Doc for $5 says, that was nice of Sig to offer to fly Trench all the way to India for a factory tour. Yeah. Apparently the tickets are not as expensive as one might think. Jake says, hey, John and friends, on my way to Culver's. I specifically told you to get chicken and spaghetti, not Culver's. Culver's is going to give you a heart attack, man. Their buttermilk burgers or whatever it is they have, but I hope you have a great burger. Sig Sauer for $49 says, there's something scarier than a 320 strapped to a drone. Trench is a firearms instructor. Hand over face emoji. Oof. Okay, so what's worse? Trench instructing people on using a 320 or some random person using a 320 on a drone? Which one is likely to ND first? Genosan 11 for $10 says the Shell Shock NAS3, the Badlands ammo. If it is, it's pretty dope because they are local to me. Well, it's the NAS3 case technology specifically that Badlands ammo does use, which we will get into that. And thank you very much for the $10. Yeah, it looks like good stuff. And I've heard good stuff from their projectiles and that specific loading that you're talking about. In fact, Cody from Red Right Hand was telling me I needed to check it out. So I probably will be getting some of that. Now, are you guys familiar with the Trace?
Yes.
No, enlighten me, please.
It is support journalism that shines a light on gun violence. They are a super left-wing anti-gun media organization. And since a couple of the videos that I put out last week got some traction, one of their reporters reached out to me for an interview. That was actually supposed to happen 5 hours ago, but I got some pretty cogent advice from some guys in the server and essentially decided to ghost him on that because I don't feel like that would be particularly useful, as they are a directly anti-gun organization. They do not have any of our best interests at heart. They just want to clicks and drama and to make it seem as negative on the two-way space as possible. And even if we have a common quote-unquote adversary as Sig, still not worth partnering with some of these scummy individuals who will use that against you at a later point in time.
The enemy of your enemy is still your enemy.
Right. Well, and it's like it doesn't do me any benefit to work with them. They benefit from working with me. Right. It doesn't do anything for me at all, or the community at all. It would actually be the opposite. Worthless.
Because they would most likely take everything you say, chop it up, edit it up, and take it completely out of context. So
right, and that's the thing too, is I don't really want to talk to them about sources. I don't really want to talk to them about any specifics or whatnot because I don't trust them. And if they're not going to use the statement in full, if they're just going to clip little pieces out of it, then it's completely worthless. So it's just not even worth engaging on that.
Like I do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I was supposed to have that interview 5 hours ago, but I just ghosted him on it. But yeah,
I think that's probably the best thing you could have done.
Yeah. I think so. So that brings us to the new report coming out of, this is a couple days ago. This is the Shell Shock Technologies Next Gen 7.62 by 51 ammo excels military live fire evaluation. Now, if you're not familiar with the company behind this, ShellTech, let me pull this up here. The NAS3, the two-piece shell case. So this is similar to what Sig Sauer is doing with their 6.8 by 51. Different materials that they're using, but with some pretty large benefits, allegedly. So
this has been around longer.
I know it's been around for a while now, but this actually just finished up some testing at the Naval Surface Warfare Center. So if I read this out here, Shell Shock Technologies has successfully tested its next-gen 7.62 by 51 ammunition, achieving 0 case failures under extreme conditions at the Naval Surface Warfare Center. The testing confirmed the durability and performance of the NAS3 cartridges. NAS3 cartridges used in high-pressure environments. The company aims to redefine military ammunition standards with availability set for summer 2025. Now, this case technology is stuff that you can actually buy right now, not for all of the calibers that are coming. I believe in the future they're going to be having 50 BMG, 338 Lapua, 6.5 Creedmoor. So you're going to be able to load some really spicy rounds into these, and we'll get into performance in just a minute. Testing, 0 failures? What's that? Maybe not. Shell Shock Technologies state Shell Shock Technologies LLC, a leading innovator in the ammunition industry, is proud to announce a critical achievement in its mission to redefine military-grade ammunition performance. The company's 7.62 by 51 NAS3 cartridges case have successfully completed rigorous testing at the Naval Surface Warfare Center, Crane Division, one of the most demanding environments in the defense sector. The results, 0 case failures. Now, they're being very specific with 0 case failures. So I'm not sure if that just means that they didn't have any cases rupture or fall apart, and they might have had some other issues that they're being cheeky with their language about 0 case failures. But that is the wording being used. No case failures, which I think was the main point of the test, are these new 2-piece cases. So now this is where things get a little bit squirrely in terms of whoever wrote this, Mr. wherever it is on here. Whoever wrote this, maybe ChatGPT, who knows? But they claim the tested ammo used a 155 grain bullet loaded at 50,000 psi and had velocities of 3,000 feet per second. Now, that doesn't really jive. 155 grain bullet loaded at 50,000 psi to hit 3,000 feet per second. That's probably not accurate, and that 50,000 psi number is probably an understanding or a translation error. There was actually a really, really good set done by Ultimate Reloader, and he has a full write-up on it. Before I get into this article and kind of the speculation of what their chamber pressure was closer, did you have anything to add to this, Hawkeye?
Yeah, so I designed out.
He's muted.
No, he's
I can
talking.
hear him.
What, can't
He's
you hear
talking.
me?
We can hear him.
I can hear him.
Uh-oh, his audio's gone.
John froze.
Well, I
It's
hear
all right.
him.
Wait, can I not hear anybody else? What happened?
No,
Did
you
I
can't
lose
hear
audio?
any of
Am I
us.
crazy?
Yes, you did.
Richard,
Can
talk.
you hear me?
Are you talking? I
Yep.
can't hear you guys.
All right, so I'm going to remove John, and then we're just going to go on with the Hawkeye
Alright.
talk for a
So-
minute.
So anyway,
Is it?
You guys are
So-
talking. I can't hear you.
Yes.
Can you? Gosh,
ooh,
dang
We're
it.
that's the
talking.
perfect.
Unbelievable. I'll be right
whatever
back.
we want about them.
We're talking.
Boom.
Entertain them
Boomer.
while I'm gone.
That's what I'm
All
doing.
right. So anyway, so I designed out 5 different cartridges, and I have a couple of different reloading programs. The closest thing that you're gonna get to, hold on, it was a 20-inch barrel. I did put the gas port in it, which does bleed off some velocity. The closest I got was 65,000 psi, and that was with accurate LT30. And this isn't reloading advice. And
Yeah,
then
that seems a
No,
little
no, no,
I gotta start
spicy.
this with that. And then I went over. There's a couple of other like shooter reference load data. The closest that I've seen was like 2966, but that was still 61,000 psi. There really isn't that much of an advantage to load something that low. I to me, like the case, I can show
Yeah, I
bullets,
thought
right?
the average was going to be around 60 for like, isn't that what
yeah,
308 wind
yeah, the
doesn't it
average-
operate around?
Yeah, 60,000. So you have case. There's only so much volume in the case for powder, and I don't think that it's I don't think that any kind of like internal like geometry design inside of the case could get that kind of velocity even out of a 20-inch barrel. There's different ways of designing gunpowder. So you have like the pistol, rifle, magnum. You have ones that burn fast, burn slow, burn slower, but like over a larger powder column like Magnum does. You could get into different case design with making the case physically thicker and having it be stouter, kind of like some of the super short mags. There are new powders out there where they're designing it to burn slow, like a Magnum or a rifle powder. And then when the sphere goes down more, it'll burn faster, like a pistol powder. So there are the biggest advancement in firearms technology is going to be gunpowders, but I don't see how they're doing 50,000 and getting that velocity at all.
Yeah, that seemed a little bit sus from my perspective as well too. I know that my back, I would say probably 20 years ago, my grandfather was experimenting with loading some 308 Win mag or some 308 Win ammo, and he was also playing with different powders. And he had one load that was out of 20-inch barrel, 155 grain. It was doing something like 3,200, and the cases were coming out cold. It was very, very weird. But
Well,
at least for
so
the first few.
now
Are
that
you
I'm back,
back?
everybody, I can hear you guys. You guys can hear me
Okay.
now. So now
Yes.
we're good. So moving on from there to where I kind of was, you guys are talking about it, which is great. Appreciate you guys doing that. So
Gotcha.
in this great article by Ultimate Reloader, and he has an entire video on it as well. The point of this video that he did and article is how to push 308 to 300 Win mag velocities. So in the article, they take a 215 grain projectile loaded up to 77,000 FPS roughly, or sorry, 77,000 PSI roughly, and then they're cranking out 2,600-ish FPS out of that 215 grain projectile. So the amount of energy required to get a 155 grain projectile like the NAS3 up to 3,000 FPS is probably about 70 to 75,000 PSI, which is still underneath what you're getting out of the 68x51 for a lighter projectile. And again, that is using this NAS3 case technology, which we'll get into in just a minute.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the case technology. When it first came out and hit the market, I picked up some of the 9mm, and I got a chance to play around with it a little bit.
Sorry.
The overall weight savings on it is amazing, especially if you get into some of the lighter projectiles.
Oh yeah. Well, so we'll talk about all the benefits in just a minute, but that the 85,000 PSI that they were getting, that Ultimate Reloader was getting, was with standard brass, or really high quality brass, but standard-ish brass, not using this hybrid case technology.
Well,
So
the
again,
other
they're
thing
claiming
too is in that testing they were using a bolt gun, they weren't using a gas gun. So depending on the diameter of the gas port and how far away it is in the barrel, you could lose upwards to 100 feet a second of velocity just from having that gas port there too.
Yeah, I'm sure there's different ways to optimize it, because it says here that it was tested under extreme pressure and velocity in belt-fed machine guns, including the 240 Bravo and minigun platforms. SST 7.60x51 cases passed with flying colors even under the most violent conditions of automatic fire and harsh ejection cycles. Testing was conducted at ambient temperature, negative 40 degrees Fahrenheit and plus 160 degrees Fahrenheit, with all pressure and velocity benchmarks met or exceeded. So apparently this case technology, which is similar to what you get on the 68x51, is performing very well. And we'll get into all of the specifics in just a second. This milestone underscores the durability, consistency, and tactical advantages of our NAS3 case technology, said Peter Foss, Managing Director and CEO of Shell Shock Technologies. Zero case failures in such unforgiving conditions is not just a win for us, it's a validation for every warfighter and defense partner looking for lighter, faster, and more accurate ammunition.
Whoa.
The 7.62x51 success joins a growing list of calibers, including 300 Blackout, 5.56, 6.5 Creedmoor, and then they have early results for 338 Lapua, 338 Norma, and eventually they're going to take this case technology over to 50 BMG. So you're going to get 50 BMG, but spicy in the future, which will be entertaining to say the least.
Spicy
Now,
slap rounds win.
Yeah. Well, yeah, a 750 grain projectile traveling like 3,400 FPS or something stupid like that. So the way that the case works is it is a bi-material case. So on the 9mm and pistol calibers, they have an aluminum base. And on the rifle rounds, they have a steel base, just like the 68x51 from SIG. So allegedly, because they are using steel, which is on its own lighter, it's less dense than brass, and it's also stronger, so you need less of it. They claim that the cases are up to 50% lighter while still being stronger than your traditional brass. So, check tool, and these are all made in America. And you can actually buy these now, which if you go to their website, you can actually buy the brass by itself and do your own loading. And they have also partnered with Badlands Munitions Co., and they actually load up several different loadings using the NAS3 case. So they have these 85 grain match burners, which Badlands claims these guys will hit 2,700 FPS out of an 18-inch barrel, which is 100 FPS higher than what you would get out of a 75 grain projectile. So these are pretty spicy boys. And it's kind of the same thing that I would have expected if you just take the 68x51 case technology or the NAS3 case technology and you import that to standard calibers that we already have. You just get, hey, there's plus 10% performance, 20% performance, whatever that number actually ends up being. Yes, you're going to have more aggressive parts wear, but the NGSW already has very aggressive parts wear, so that's not a real downside.
Parts wear is only a problem in armies that don't have good logistics.
Yeah,
right.
The military is, the U.S. military at least, it's so logistics heavy that they can support a weapon system that only goes about 5,000 rounds and needs all new parts. So it's not really a big
well, yeah, and if we want to talk about the NGSW in comparison to the NAS3 case, the requirements for the NGSW program are only 5,000 rounds of barrel life.
Mhm.
So out of a 308, even pushing, 10, 15, 20% more velocity out of it, you're going to have a reduced barrel life, but you're still going to be above that 5,000 round minimum that the NGSW requires, right?
Yes.
So I wonder if they were making the cases because Federal came out with the 7mm backwoods, and that runs at like 80,000 psi. And they're saying on their website here that they use this case because it reduces the rearward speed of the case when fired, and it protects the rifle's action from being damaged, or possibly just the bolt thrust on the bolt when fired backwards on it. But they're getting it's a 280 Remington length, and it's a 170 grain bullet, 7mm at 3,034 feet a second with a 20-inch barrel. So like most of the firearms can be safely shot with higher loads. It's just the friction of the case when you extract it, which is why I think they're using steel, and if the primers could hold up to it.
Right. Yeah. So this one here, because it's actually thinner walled than brass, because again, you don't need as much material to maintain the same strength. Allegedly, you get more case capacity as well, 1 to 8%. Obviously, bigger cases are going to get more of a benefit than smaller cases. So you get more case capacity. You can load to higher pressures. So the cylinder itself is supposedly a high tensile nickel alloy, and then the base is either aluminum for pistol rounds or steel for rifle cases. So it's really interesting tech that, again, whereas the NGSW program does the opposite, where it adds a bunch of weight and complexity, it's 50% lighter than standard case technology, which is funny because we've seen now floating around pictures of the XM250 loaded up with solid steel casings as opposed to the bimetal casings. So we've already seen those floating around. Yeah, it is funny. It is funny to think about. It's like we have brass. We're like, okay, this is it. This is the pinnacle. And it's like, well, no, we're going to do brass and steel so that we get the benefits of it. And then we just go all the way back to actually, it's just going to be steel again. It's just steel. Yeah, we're just back to steel cased ammo because
for effort.
Yeah, it's like you were saying earlier, it's hard to get more out of less.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
so to do so, you either have to some crazy powder technology increase, or you just up the pressure, right? you could get more by just upping the pressure. So it's like, well, if we just pack them more, we'll get more velocity out of it. Problem solved.
Right. That's why the 223 that's where it came from anyway. Was they had the 222 and they said, well, can we make it a little bit faster? So they were like, well, we're at max capacity on the case. Do you mind if we bump the shoulder up a little bit? And they're like, okay, here's your new case. This meets your requirements.
Oh yeah.
And so right now you can buy this directly from ShellTech. You can get their 5.56. It's a little expensive, but again, it's supposed to be hot. It's about 80 cents a round for ball, which isn't horrifying, but it is quite expensive, I would say. They're 300. I don't know why. The one thing that doesn't make sense is I don't know why you would ever use this for 300 blackout unless you're trying to load a really spicy supersonic load. Because for subsonic, who cares?
They say copper hollow point. That I'm gonna assume that that's solid copper, not a jacketed.
That the thing about their website is it doesn't give me much detail on what it
Yeah.
is. You just click on it, and I mean, it's more about I don't really care actually about the shell tech, their specific ammunition, because we know that other companies are already buying their brass and using that NAS3 case technology to make their own loadings of the stuff. So that's where we get, again, something like the Badlands munitions, which we can just go to really just about anything. And you can see they sell their standard stuff and the NAS3 cases, right? And so you can get super hot 77 grain Mark 262 or really spicy. Let me see if they have a rating on one of their 55 grain projectiles. They have the 85 grain match, which I've heard really good things about. They have their SS 193, which I wonder what rating do they give? 3,500 FPS out of an 18-inch barrel. 3,300 FPS out of a URGI.
Plus
So
B plus. Holy moly.
Is this AR-15 safe? Because I don't think it is.
This is the velocities that
I was going to ask that.
Right
like, are we getting into plus P plus territory where you would need a certain?
Well, yeah, you are pushing above SAMI spec probably to get that. So you're going to run into more bolt issues and you're going to reduce your barrel life. But if you're spending 70 cents a round, you know, for 1,000, I don't think you care too much about replacing your barrel every 5 to 10,000 rounds. So it is definitely, it's hot, it's spicy, and you're going to increase your bolt wear and all of the components regarded to that. And it's going to be a lot harder on your barrel and also harder on suppressors, although that's very suppressor dependent and barrel length dependent. So that's kind of like this out of a 16-inch barrel is way softer than anything out of a 10.5 barrel, right? Just because of that barrel length reduction and pressure at the muzzle reduction. So, yeah, but you can absolutely get this. And I want to see, what about their 308 loading? So they have the NAS3 and 308 right now that you can buy. So this is 175 grain, clocking in at 2675 out of an 18-inch. So that is actually pretty good. And then what I like about this is they actually tell you what they got out of each specific gun that they tested. So out of an LMT Mars H, 2675 with a 4.8 SD. That is very good, and about 200 FPS faster than a standard 175 grain load out of a appropriate barrel length. So it is.
What grain weight bullet is that?
175.
175.
So 175 going 2675 out of an 18-inch LMT Mars H. So I want to see what I didn't check this beforehand. Oh, darn it. I wanted to see if they had 6.5 Creedmoor in this because that would be cool.
When's the 22 long rifle bimetal case?
Bimetal case 22 long
I'm waiting
rifle.
for it. Come on.
So it's going to be 22 Magnum is what it's going to be.
Oh,
Magnum.
I want more 17 Wisdom. Make more of this, please.
I mean, I don't know what else would be good for it. Yeah, 300 Blackout doesn't make sense to me. They do sell 22 long rifle, but it's not going to be the NAS stuff. But
it'd be great
just
for
funny.
5.7.
5.7?
Yeah, if they could really pump up the pressure and velocity, and
maybe I think if I remember correctly, you get less of a benefit because you don't have as much you don't have as much room to work with.
You can actually load up 5.7 hotter, but the issue is it is a straight wall case, and most of the systems that use it are. I have a 5.7 right here. Ooh, cute little 5.7.
Look at that.
And then I loaded it with a long bullet for subsonic silliness.
It looks fat.
So with the issue with the 5.7, you could get more pressure out of it. You could get into pistol powders with it, like faster burning pistol powders. But it is a straight wall case design. That's why they kind of they lube up the bullets because most of them are blowback. So they're using the case to, when it stretches out, they're using that to help slow down the extraction to kind of lower the chamber pressures.
Thank you.
Rude trench.
I think, like, to me, most cartridges you can load up to 62,000 psi. Like, short of the AR-15, like the AK can absolutely handle it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
and so that's you could still design a new bolt and a new barrel extension, but keep everything else basically the same for an AR-15 so that it can handle the extra pressure. Or you do the same thing with an AR-10 as well, and then you can just retrofit rifles that you already own, are already in production
Yeah.
with this new case technology, using the exact same ammunition, just with the new cases. So that's kind of where, if we bring it back to the NGSW program, it's everything had to be brand new from the ground up. And as opposed to, using a $1,500 URGI or whatever it ends up being for the military, we're buying like $3,000 and $4,000 rifles that are, not even up to snuff most of the time. Like, did you guys see I was told about this, the iris testing that 4MR Ranch did on his I think it was a 308 version of the, what do they call it? The Spear? Do they just call it the Spear on the civilian side?
I think so.
The XM7, is it just the Spear? So he had a 308 Spear, and the rail on the Spear would not hold zero.
Oh yeah,
He thought it was the iris.
Yep.
But instead the rail just wasn't holding zero. So when he actually hooked it up just to the upper receiver itself, he's like, oh well, now it's holding zero. Great. So my $3,500 rifle, the rail doesn't even hold zero on it. Oh, this is great. This is fantastic.
Should have gotten a
Andrew had the exact same problem. Andrew Vachon, he had the exact same problem with his SIG. He had one of your original MCX.
8-inch MCXs, yeah. And SIG's rails have had issues for a long time, and I don't understand how they can charge that much money for a gun that rail doesn't work that well. Same thing as well when we talk about the Desert Tech Wolverine. You have to buy an upgraded rail to make the rail hold zero, and that's just like a known thing.
Yeah, isn't it like locked onto the receiver or something like that?
Well, it's like it hooks in and there's like a pin, right? But nothing is actually bolted together. So the whole thing, depending, especially if you're flexing on it or loading it up with a foregrip or a bipod, that laser is just getting shifted left, right, up, and down.
I know nothing about handgun design or technology. That is crazy to me.
Well, all of yours are carbon fibers, so we're not mounting lasers to those anyways.
How hard is it? Multi-million-dollar company. We'll put some screws in it, taper the ends to make sure it doesn't move.
Well, to be clear, people are very pedantic about numbers, but when you say millions, you mean billions.
Yeah,
I mean more money than I.
Yeah, you mean billions. Yeah,
you said millions and screws. I thought you were talking about Keltec there for a second.
Ooh, millions in cocaine.
Don't knock Keltec. The SU-16 is a good rifle.
Yeah, we all love Keltec, but for very different reasons.
I love it because it's a meme, and they embrace it.
I love it
until
it blew up on me.
They actually have good customer service. They really do.
Well, they need it. Gosh. Sig Sauer for $4.99 says, well, technically a drone is smarter than Corky/Trench. Is Corky a nickname for Trench? Ugh, that's not very nice, Sig.
I've not heard that one before.
Unbelievable. Sig is more reliable getting a joke out than he is getting a round out. I'll say that. Todd and Dogs for $2 says, Sig capitulates to the haters. I don't think I can say that on YouTube, but yeah, the Sig Sauer on me. True. Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you for Todd Dogs for the $2. Sig Sauer again for $4.99 says, what costume does Hawkeye wear when to the Renaissance Fair every weekend? All right, Hawkeye, what's your favorite Renaissance Fair?
I do Viking Age living history, so I have an actual 9th century historically accurate Viking outfit that I wear.
Oh, that's cool.
And I can make swords and sell pottery and do jewelry. So yes, you caught me, sir.
Incredibly big.
Yeah, he was on the nose with that one. Thomas Shoes World says, just wanted to say hi. Thanks for the scope and content. Yeah, absolutely. I hope you are enjoying it, and thank you very much for hanging out. Stealth for $5. Thank you very much, sir. Says, this is a infinitely superior upgrade for 5.56 over raising the bullet weight, which might stockpile this for my 555 grain for my carry handle build. I mean, it still is expensive, but for proprietary technology, it's not that bad. So, for instance, if we go back, let me pull this up again. The 85 grain match burners were $1.50 a round.
Like
which
80
for
cents for 55 grain, right?
70 cents, I think. But again, for match plus special ammo, like $50 a round is kind of similar to what you're spending on like a Hornady ELDM. It's like the same price.
What was their 55 grain what did it cost? You said it was also
I
running 3,500 per
think
second.
it's-
70
Well, it depends on the barrel length. Let me go the SS 193. So it is 70 cents a round. And out of an 18-inch barrel, we're cooking 3,500 FPS. You could probably bump that a little bit up out of a 20-inch barrel. And then still, even a 14.5 is pushing 3,300 FPS. That's hot.
The next closest thing to that is going to be Spear Gold Dot 223 soft points. They're doing right about 3,250, right around there with, I think it was an 18-inch barrel, and they're $35 a box right now. $35 for 20.
Damn.
That's not bad. I mean, that is considerably more expensive, but that's more like dedicated self-defense ammo.
Yeah.
Versus just a ball round, right?
Now,
because you
they
can
were
get away with
discussing-
really dirt cheap projectiles with 55.
They were discussing releasing, I don't know if they ever did, but they had a 55, a 62, and a 75 that they were going to bump the pressures up on significantly. And they were talking about getting 3,500, just shy of 3,500 out of the 55. I don't know if they ever did that or not. I seen an announcement on it, but I haven't seen anything else on it.
Once the cases become more prevalent, I see some people in the chat saying that they either can't get them or they're really hard to get. You probably have to buy in very high amounts, like Badlands is probably buying them by the tens of thousands. But if you are a producer, we're going to see some pretty crazy loads come out. Like you can get a 50 grain Barnes TSX soft point load coming out of these at 3,700 FPS or something stupid.
I mean,
it's going to happen.
This is just commercial Bubba's pissing hot hand loads. That's all
Yeah.
this is.
Yeah, out of the case that out of
Bubba's
the
pissing hot hand loads that you can buy at the store now.
Yeah, but the case supposedly won't rip up and kill you. So that's
that's important.
It might blow up the gun, but I wouldn't run it in a PSA. How about that? They'll have to come out. They'll have to come out with a new rating on bolts and barrels. Like this is rated for the plus B plus NAS3 case or something like that. And then eventually on their website they'll be like, please do not use this in PSA products.
No.
Bolt PSA underneath.
I've gotten my AK pretty hot before.
Yeah, I mean, but an AK has a much more robust bolt and barrel extension.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like you can put a lot more load on, which is why if you look at the SIG XM7 bolts, the lugs on them are super long. Like they have a huge amount of surface on them to take that 80,000 PSI. They're designed for it, right? Supposedly. 6 hour for one. Yeah, 6 hour for 199 says AAC, the SIG of the ammo world. Yeah, I don't know. Do you guys have any thoughts about the whole 110 SAS and his video almost getting taken down, stuff like that? Because apparently it got like mass reported from PSA fans after he said that, hey, PSA AAC ammo has problems. And to be clear, I thought he was really nice in that video. Like he could have gone way harsher. Like their 77 grain loads and some of their other stuff has been known to blow apart suppressors for a while now.
Oh.
So I don't know why this is a new thing.
I don't really have much to say on it. I don't use AAC ammo. I had precisely one box that I traded this. I was running low on something and ended up swapping some 40 for some 9, and I ran one box of 9 through it, of 9 AAC, and that was it. I don't. The prices were never good enough to entice me to risk it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, I personally have never ran it. A few people at some shooting courses I've gone to have ran it, and I've used Blazer, CCI, Winchester White Box. Never had MAC-10, never had a single ammunition related issue until I saw people starting to run AAC. And in certain classes, I've had people who every 1 in 100 rounds, either a dead round or a blown out primer or something like that. So.
Yeah, and Max Grind has a very good counterpoint. I've shot 2,500 rounds of AAC with no problems. That means there is no problem.
Exactly.
That's right.
Yeah.
As long as it hasn't happened to me yet, it's never happened. I think that is a very good, wise take.
I'm not concerned about the 2,500. It's the 2,500 first.
Right. It's there. There's not a problem right up until there is. An Axegrind for 199 says, when the NAS3 first dropped, I thought no way in hell. But yeah, this case technology, like obviously it's been adopted by the US military. We're seeing other companies produce basically the same thing. And eventually it'll be down to where, I mean, we already have some steel case ammunition produced, just solid steel case ammo produced inside the US. So I think other companies are just going to be like, hey, we can actually do this and just market it as really hot and people will buy it.
Yeah.
You know, and we don't have to do anything special. So I think it's going to catch on.
The marketing is kind of special because they call it a high tensile nickel alloy, and it's just stainless.
So
well, it is.
What you do.
It is still a bimetal case, so it is. It is a little bit more special than just a solid steel case, but people will just build a solid steel case and be like, "Look at how special we are."
That happened too.
So here's what you do. You could just take the case, go to a laboratory, pay them $60 and have them do a metallurgy test on it, and you'll get all the components and alloys. And people go, oh, it's proprietary. I'm like, well, it's not for a long
time. Not anymore.
I have exactly one left. I could do that with it.
Didn't Quake Maker do something similar? Like when Quake Maker 9mm ultra heavy subsonic ammo, it was a bimetal case. It was one of the first companies or examples that did it.
The Seismic S3.
Oh yeah. I remember that stuff. Do you remember they had a 165 grain 9mm load?
Yeah, it's something crazy.
Same company that offered like 105 grain 223.
Oh really?
Interesting. Yeah, it's. Yeah. I forget if they used tungsten in the core, if the bullet was tungsten, but it was super heavy and it was a bimetal case. At least I thought it was. I'm not super familiar.
I'd have to look at that, yeah, because I remember seeing that at like a show like 6 years ago, like a long time ago.
Yeah, it's been. I mean, it's in fucking Tarkov. Game's been out for a while.
I do want to say thanks to Dank for sending this to me. Just perfect timing on his part. This PSA, this is on the 110 SAS video. This is a PSA hit piece. I've been through roughly 2,000 rounds of this exact 77 grain 5.56 AAC stuff with 0 issues, and it shoots under an MOA consistently and is absolutely devastating on hogs, coyotes, and whitetail. Don't believe everything you read on the internet. And again, 110 SAS' video was very nice. Like he was like, we like them, they're on our side, but we just need to hold them accountable for when they do something bad. And people hated it. Absolutely hated it. But this is the average PSA enjoyer. Thomas Shoes World for 199 says, I tried to buy the stainless steel brass and dies, and it's not for sale. I thought I saw them advertised somewhere that they were, but maybe they are just completely out of in too high of a demand, or maybe they're not selling to individuals at this time. Let me pull this up.
Yes.
Seismic high mass ammunition. Are they still in contact or no?
Yeah. Ooh, heavier hits harder.
Harder's better.
185 grain 9mm plus M plus mass, I guess is what that means.
Yeah, it's
very funny.
pH.
Subsonic velocities, you don't say. 900 to 100 to 1000 FPS. Interesting.
I've shot some of this stuff through a Glock 19. It's an experience. My buddy bought some.
Does it shoot differently?
It definitely does. It's got a lot more recoil, and it sounds very different when you shoot it.
Interesting.
We joked about it sounding like an alien blaster because when you shot it, it made this like noise as it like left the gun. It was
now I need to. Now I gotta go to YouTube and see if we can find a video of this real fast.
Can I ask a dumb question?
Go for it.
Why don't you just shoot 40 Smith & Wesson if you want to shoot a heavy bullet?
That's a silly. No. That's a very silly answer. No, that's not. Seismic 9mm. Well, of course, that's what you would realistically do versus paying over $1 per round for 9mm.
I mean, 45 ACP is subsonic too. I mean,
I think I'm the only one here who is a prolific 40 cal enjoyer.
No, not true. I've
Oh, hey, look. InRange did a video 6 years ago on seismic mass 185 grain. Yeah, TriggerCon 2019. That is where I saw it because I was at TriggerCon 2019, which was in Seattle. That was the last show in Seattle, and I was at this one. So that is funny. So that is where I saw it originally. But I've never heard of this channel before, The Gun Channel.
Nice.
Nice.
Good signs.
Aw.
I mean, it's a really high quality camera for what it is, but
Well, it looks like I might have to try check out a new channel later.
My buddy has some of it. I don't know if he can still use it for carry, but I know he bought some.
So this is the exact opposite of the S3 ammo, 9mm ammo that I have, because it was like, I want to say it was like 50 grain or 52
Super
grain
light.
right.
9mm.
Yeah. I've seen that
And
stuff too.
it sounds like a rifle going off, and I popped off a couple of rounds in my local indoor pistol range, and the guy come in, he said, "What are you shooting?" And he checked and he goes, "No, you can't shoot that here." And I said, "Okay, fair enough. I won't tear up your backstop."
That is actually very funny. He does look like that emoji, doesn't he? Oh, is it not doing audio for you guys? Because I'm
wasn't,
sharing
no.
window. Oh
No.
shoot. Let me see if
I
I can
think you
figure
muted
that
it
out.
on purpose.
No, window. I have to share Microsoft Edge tab. Oh, okay, so I actually just have to show you in an Edge tab. Edge. I had to switch browsers. I had to switch browsers because the other one died. So here we go. So now I can actually show you.
Is it true that a 9mm?
Yeah, he does look like that emoji, doesn't he? That's quite funny. But can you get to the shooting part though? Because I actually want to just see you shoot it. That's the only interesting part. All right, so now we have audio.
Handgun with a shorter barrel on it, this probably won't benefit you quite as well. But if you have a full-size handgun or a pistol caliber carbine, kind of like the Scorpion here, this is definitely something worth checking out or taking a look at, especially if you're running a suppressor. When you guys are all done arguing down below in the comments about what is the better cartridge or what is the better caliber, just keep in mind you're never going to come out with the ultimate answer for everyone. And then no matter which cartridge or bullet you choose,
Blasphemous, good sir. I want to argue and say that my cartridge is better than all the rest.
But is
My
he actually,
cartridge is
because the
the best
title of the
cartridge.
video is 185 grain 9mm versus 45 ACP. Is there actually is he actually going to shoot them?
handgun, if you're into training, tasking your skills, and testing out your equipment under stress.
I thought there was going to be some sort of comparison in here,
Yeah,
but I didn't
I
even
know.
get to hear
We
the
can
stuff.
find it out.
So yeah.
I mean, I could
Sorry,
ask my buddy's
sir.
got some. I'll put a video together on it.
Yeah. I mean, that actually is a good idea, a good video idea for sure.
I mean, if you're going to modernize the 9mm, why can't everybody just compare it to the 45 Super?
Or 45, what is it? 45 gap. We should bring that back.
No.
Hell yeah.
6 Hour for $4.99 says, bet there's a lot of that screen flickering going on at all hours in the Hawkeye layer. It's atmospheric. Thank you for the $4.99. Stealth for $10 says, considering the hard steel of barrels and bolts, if you look at it like a machine, this is a natural increase in efficiency, addressing the core bottleneck of brass capabilities. There still are some advantages to brass because it does extract heat out of the gun, right? Because it essentially acts like a heat sink, and it's probably still easier to extract. It's probably easier on extractors as well as, just because it's a softer material. So there are still advantages to brass, but in this day and age where people are worried about performance, short barrels, body armor, how do I get more out of a shorter, smaller package? Unless there's some crazy increase in powder technology, you just need to up the pressure, right? Because it's like bullet design. How much more efficient can a bullet fly through the air? I mean, there's slight efficiencies, but it's pretty simple to design something that goes like straight. Not talking about long distance shooting, but just in terms of like velocity, right? So
the biggest improvement for bullet technology was materials. The same thing that they're going to be with case technology. It's going to be materials, right? When they switch from just your average rounds to tungsten and some of the other some of the other spicy munitions, that made it a big difference, right? And I imagine that the case technology is going to go the same route.
Also, these things tend to happen in like chunks. It's like you get a little improvement here, and then they do an improvement over here, and then they do something here. It's like you're always seeing new bullets come out, new cases come out, and powder technology hasn't moved that much. But yeah, it's going to happen slowly over the three main vectors for standard conventional projectiles until we get into Gauss cannons.
Hell
I
yeah.
I think the technology of firearms is going to go a lot further rather than the platform, rather than what is the gas operating system of the firearm. It's going to be optics technology first and foremost. It's going to be powder technology, how to maintain pressure longer in the barrel safely. So like let's say it's 62,000 psi. If you can maintain that all the way till the end, you're going to get a lot more velocity and you're not going to overstress the gun. And I mean, with bullet technology, there are some things that you could do still to make it a little bit more aerodynamic. But I personally think like the powder and the case technology, along with like bullet design, like what Q did with the 8.6 and optics, I think that those will be the major things that take firearms to the next level.
So, John, what I sent you here is the 85 grain 308 Lehighs.
They look like Allen keys. So stupid.
Yeah. But these out of that bimetal case 308 doing you know,
Oh,
just shy of
I was
4,000 feet
not
per second.
I was not reading that correctly. I thought this was 9mm projectiles. I did not realize that these are 308 projectiles. So yeah, no, that's wild. I want to see a gel test of this going like 4,000
So
FPS or something stupid.
I'm going to have Quantum or possibly one other person load me up 50 rounds of this into 308.
Oh my gosh.
Good lord.
Just stupid, like safe, but just barely, you know. I'm
Hey, Brandon,
very,
I
very
got a
curious
load
to what
worked
they can
out
do.
Yeah,
for
make one
You
of
want
those the Sammy test rounds where they send a intentionally overpressured round down the bore.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna
high
have
pressure
a
testing.
proof round first, and
Yeah.
it's going to be on a Bear Creek 16-inch AR that I'm gonna shoot from a distance. I'm not gonna pull the trigger on it.
Yeah, Quantum says you're going to need some wild twist rate to get it to stabilize.
Yeah, I'm not concerned. Inside of 100 yards, it'll be fine.
Wait, would you? Because what do you get with 308? It's just a 1 in 10. So
yeah, just
you would
standard 1 in 10.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Jake, the actual technician, says it's not Torx or Allen, it's Square. Y'all need to get a real job. Very sorry, Tim.
All right, Jake.
6 hour for $4.99. Bimetal casing. So much in common with Trench. Must be some hidden benefit to being bi. Right?
He is right though. It is basically a number 3 square drive. If you take the exact measurements on it, I held one next to a number 3. I'm like,
It's an interesting design. Would I spend $50 on 50 bullets? No, but that's funny.
I mean, if you shoot 338, you do. Yeah, but
this is the bullets only. But yeah, of course, for bigger projectiles, you're going to spend that much anyways. Yeah. Noob Actual for $4.99 says increased pressure cartridges plus longer barrel life plus stronger upper and lower receiver set equals the AR-16 plus P plus. Yeah, I mean, I think that if these cases become very prevalent and the standard, you will see a updated bolt and barrel extension design, and it'll actually be like specifically rated for the higher pressures, right? So I think you will see that for sure. Kind of like what who does it? CAC has a special barrel extension and bolt design already in a standard AR-15 package, so you're going to see more companies do that.
Yeah.
Somebody had to do it, and Kevin might as well. Thank you very much for the $10. Says 6 Max running 58 grain of Armageddon is going roughly 3,100 FPS out of a 10.3 barrel at Sammy spec pressure. I'm sure 6 Arc is roughly the same. Seems like those are a better option. I know a lot of people preaching the 6 Max or hyping it up, I should say, but I haven't seen enough of it yet. And also, I don't know. It seems cool because you get a lot of velocity out of it. 6 Max isn't too big. It's not, I don't know how the barrel life is going to be on that, but the bigger, because you still get 108 grain projectiles out of it, and those are not going nearly as fast. But yeah, if you run something like a 58 grain varmint, which is essentially like an M193 ball, you can get some really crazy FPS out of it because you get more case capacity than 5.56.
Won't you be getting roughly the same barrel life as 5.56 because it's going to be like
no, because the barrel life, because if you look at 308 has roughly the same case capacity as 6.5 Creedmoor, but the difference is the hot jet is going out of like a wider opening, and then with the 6 Creedmoor, it's a higher pressure jet going through there. That's why 6.5
Right.
burns through barrels a little bit faster.
Six
So
max versus 5.56. The 6 max is going to have a bigger opening.
What's the case capacity though?
That's probably
It's
slightly harder to
based on
find for
the-
me.
If
6
it's
max is
fatter,
the 350 Legend, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yes,
it
but
is.
neck down. 6 max case capacity.
So that's
it's
gonna have maybe the
roughly
same. I'm
the
just gonna
same.
guess. It's
So it
not
has
that
a
much difference, but
35 grain water capacity. So I don't know if that's
yeah, that's gonna be maybe a little bit more barrel wear, but at that point, if you could afford to shoot enough 6 max to wear out your barrel, you got money to buy a new barrel.
right. And that's the thing too, is that it doesn't really matter that much at the end of the day, barrel life, as long as it's not only a couple thousand rounds, because the ammo cost is always going to way outweigh the cost of the actual barrel, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, if 6 max gets popular, I mean, you never know, it could pick up a contract or two, because I know there's people pushing for it. Art Vandelay for 199 says, pass this along for Trench's hooked on phonics. Will do. We're getting a fund started for him, apparently. Thank you for that, sir. Just some Space Cowboy for $2 says, obligatory 6mm max comment. Maybe I should just get one, but unfortunately the ammo is more expensive than 6.5 Creedmoor. It's like $2 a round. So I don't really know if I'll do that.
Retarded.
AAC, Shill Shock, I am forgottenen.
What?
Thank you very much for that, Mitchell Black, for the 199. 6 Hour for 199 says, you don't use AAC ammo, it uses you. Very true. Very true. Just a Gun Guy for $2 says, is this my daily dose of ammo autism? Apparently,
Yes.
This is the ammo stream. Yes, sir.
Yes, it is.
Oh, I could go off on it.
Well,
I mean, if
sometimes-
any of you guys have more to add on the case technology on that versus the NGSW program, I mean, that was the point of the stream. So feel free to speak your mind on this.
I think personally they need to just build up a new cartridge from the ground up and use all the lessons they learned and just build something purpose built. Like, pick a caliber, realistically decide what your range is, because it's great to say I want a 10.3 AR and shoot it out to 800 yards, but you're never gonna fucking do that. So figure out like what do I expect the infantry to do? What are the capabilities that I'm expecting it to have? And then if everyone wants armor piercing, so then focus on making a cartridge designed to shoot that type of payload out at that distance, and then do it. So like 6 ARC is I think it's a really good cartridge. I mean,
It's a great target round.
Well, it's 7.62 by 39. The best parent case cartridge of all, right? But it's limited in the AR-15 due to the bolt. And then so you could load that to 62,000 in the AK. So just make the AR stronger, like you said before, so you can load it up to that and then use the 6 ARC. A big issue with the 458 SOCOM is that was only loaded at 35,000 PSI because it was so fat. I actually have one right here because I do. So the issue with that case, it's so fat when it was in the chamber, it wasn't strong enough to withstand any more pressure than 35,000. And then you have the 458 hammer that Wilson Combat came out with, but they used an AR-10 upper for that. So 40 people shit on 45 ACP. It's the same issue. That's 19,000 PSI. 9mm 35,000. But out of my 45 Super, I'm getting a 185 grain bullet out of a 4.5-inch barrel at 1,400 feet a second, and that's like 800 foot-pounds of energy. So I think most of the cases and cartridges that we're designing, we need to make sure the material science is there on the rifle first. Why is
Sorry, somebody
God.
commented. Huge ass for 499 says, why is Hawkeye using a popcorn bag full of used condoms for a mic? It is
one earlier.
like a little bit every now and again, and so it's like every third or fourth word there's just like this tiny little crackle, and so I don't know exactly.
I'm using my phone, guys. I'm sorry.
It's,
Yeah, I don't
it's
know
been
why
like
it's
that
hard for you though.
I don't know
every
either.
single time. Brother. That's why I asked you a long time ago if you had headphones. Is because it does this every
Oh,
single
the headphones are worse. The headphones are worse. I swear. Next time I will buy a headset for the stream and I'll use my computer instead of my phone.
Six says Hawkeye doesn't use condoms. What are you talking about?
My
Okay,
favorite
I'm
was
happily
tell him to
engaged.
sell the hat to buy a mic. That was pretty.
Yeah, no Nokia for the win. True, bro. No, he actually has like a way better phone than I do. But everybody does. Huge ass for 199 says no YouTube notification for the stream. Extremely gay. Yes, but we were on time today mostly. Mitchell Black for 499 says ask Hawkeye if he's a moderator for r/atheism. Hey, are you on the r/atheism server, sir, Reddit, sir?
I'm not on Reddit. I think it's just cancer, so I don't even go on there.
Based.
Holy based.
Yeah.
What, you're in our Discord?
Hey, man.
Okay, well,
yeah.
nobody's
Well, I mean,
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all have our vices.
He who is
Mitchell
without
Black
sin.
cast the first stone. Mitchell Black for 199 says Bones Roman saluting Chad is based.
That's not what I was doing.
I would never
Not what
doing.
was
I am
doing.
merely adjusting my camera.
Yeah, adjusting
Okay.
the camera, all right?
I would never.
I would never.
Logan sucks at shooting for 199, and he in fact doesn't suck at shooting. Check out G9 ammo if you haven't. Yeah, G9. Didn't G9 used to sponsor Garantham for a little while too?
I think they might
If I-
still. He
if I
just did a
remember
video on different hollow points within a week, and G9 was one of the ones he tested.
Yeah, because I know that they make a lot of crazy random loads out there. David Janik or Dawid Janik for
Dawid Janik.
99 cents. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it. 6 Hour for 499 says if you need extensions, check with Trench. I hear his bedroom is littered with them. Bone emoji. And Huge Ass for 199 says stop buying hats and get a real mic. Yeah, sell. Yeah, that verse in Luke, it says, sell your hat and buy a real mic.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
He who does not have a mic shall sell his cloak and go get one. That is funny. Is this actually Jonathan Glimmer Pacone? Wait a second. Is John actually in chat right now? Update.
That's awesome.
Well, I've never seen this account before, so I don't know if it's just a joke or not. But gosh dang it won't let me pull it up on here because it muted your message, sir. But let me get into another little thing. So speaking of, somebody asked if the plastic case was dead.
Oh, I saw that.
And it's not exactly dead because that was True Velocity, wasn't it?
Yes.
So this is actually Protraband sent me this right before the stream, and it's like, hey, are you guys talking about the True Velocity Ammunitions lawsuit against Sig Sauer? And I was like, no, but we can. Like, thanks for sending this in. So apparently, let me see. If we read the background, so this is True Velocity Ammunitions, which was also part of the NGSW program. They unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on your point of view, were not selected, versus Sig Sauer Inc. So the background of the case. According to the complaint, plaintiffs and Sig Sauer directly compete to provide the U.S. states armed forces and their allies with weapons. True Velocity is a Texas corporation with an address in Garland, Texas. Lone Star is a Delaware corporation also with an address in Garland, Texas. The two are reportedly sister companies. Sig Sauer is a Delaware corporation based in New Hampshire. Now, I forget the reason why, but there are so many Delaware corporations that work out of other states because if you're formed in Delaware, you get some sort of tax write-off advantage thingamajig. So lots of Delaware corporations, but they don't actually do business in Delaware. Lone Star allegedly holds the rights to an intellectual property portfolio related to military-grade weapons. True Velocity manufactures ammunition and weapons, including light and medium machine guns for military applications, and is licensed to use Lone Star's intellectual property. General Dynamics, which is not a party in this case, is Lone Star's predecessor in interest with respect to certain intellectual property. So the IP got sold from General Dynamics to not Lone Star, what's that? True Velocity. So General Dynamics, blah, blah, blah. I don't really care about them too much, but can I... they're going back. Okay, so here we go. As a result of research and development efforts in its Vermont facilities beginning in 2009, GDOTS allegedly developed certain trade secrets related to machine guns, specifically developed a lightweight medium machine gun, LMMG, featuring a recoil mitigation system called Short Recoil Impulse averaging, which is SRIA. SRIA reduces recoil without increasing the weapon's mass or receiver length, resulting in a lightweight weapon with a heavy machine gun capability. The complaint alleges that GDOTS refined the design of the LMMG over a period of several years. Plaintiffs claim that Sig Sauer improperly misappropriated LMMG and SRA trade secrets by recruiting GDOTS employees. So essentially, what they're alleging in this case is that, what would you call this? Corporate espionage, or I guess just stealing trade secrets basically by poaching employees.
Sounds like a violation of anti-competition. Yeah.
The notice, so these efforts allegedly began in 2014 and have continued since that time. The notice of removal asserts that those employees were not actively recruited away from GDOTS and instead came to work for Sig Sauer after demotions or layoffs impacted their employment at General Dynamics. Sig Sauer also submits that the plaintiffs' pleadings do not provide specifics with respect to any alleged trade secrets. Sig Sauer argues that SRIA is a very old technology in operation, at least in part since World War II. Sig Sauer further notes that there are publicly available patents with short recoil impulse averaging in the title. So again, this is just they're going, hey, this is old technology. We didn't steal it. We might have gotten your employees, but it's because they got laid off or something like that. Because I know that there is, I'm not a legal guy. This is not advice. If you take legal advice from me, you're stealing or whatever CRS Firearms, rest in peace, used to say. But, well, he's still alive. He's just unfortunately behind bars. But yeah, you're not allowed to poach employees specifically to steal trade secrets or something, right?
It's not, but I wonder what kind of NDAs they were under. Because sometimes
Right.
you have to sign NDAs but then also non-competes. So there's probably more to it than that, and I wonder if they have like any patents on that technology.
Mm-hmm.
Because
so if we go, oh, go ahead.
Yeah, because it just seems like, hey, I developed this thing and you took it. It's like, all right, well, what protections did you take?
So in October 2018, Sig Sauer allegedly debuted a direct competitor to the GDOTS LMMG. The complaint alleges that prior to that time, no company other than GDOTS had produced a lightweight medium machine gun that met the Army specifications. In January 2019, which is before they won the contract, GDOTS employees attended a demonstration of Sig Sauer's weapon and reportedly noted that it appeared to utilize the substantially same SRIA technology developed at GDOTS. So that's kind of awkward. It's like, how did you get that? The complaint further alleges that Sig Sauer has developed a series of belt-fed machine guns that were designed and or incorporated a substantial degree of plaintiffs' impulse averaging and LMMG trade secrets. So again, they are alleging that since 2009 to 2014 and continuing on, they took employees from them and then used those employees to get their trade secrets and then use those to build the machine guns that we are currently dealing with today. And SIG is going to, contest all those. Now, there is 33 pages of this, so we are not going to read the entire thing, as my voice will not hold up for that long. But that is just a funny little add-on in there. And there's a quick ARFCOM post on here, which you can check out. This was actually posted last year. Very nice. Indian Goddess or something like that.
Classy.
Yeah, very classy, but it's ARFCOM. But so, yes.
Was that technology used in their 338 Lupua machine gun?
I think so. Yeah, I think that is the... we could just pull it up. That should be quite fun. Because actually, I do like that machine gun very much. I like watching it work.
I know the engineer for that.
Get him on. I'm sure he would love to spill his trade secrets.
Well, he doesn't work here anymore too. So I'll get you in contact with him.
Hi, Ordnance Reaper. Can I? Oh, well, actually, Garantham's video on it is really good. Can we just watch the intro on here? Because I don't want to.
I mean, the best part of that video was Micah trying to walk with it.
Yeah, the walking section with it is quite cool. Can we see it? Just show it going off. Wait, no, do they not actually show it going off in the?
I guess.
Okay, well, there it
oh.
is.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, so if you watch
Wait,
really
reciprocates.
slowly, the barrel reciprocates. It's the SRA system or whatever it happens to be. And then there is Jason St. John, who was also part of the recent, who I met at SHOT Show. He actually gave me an interview on their 8T AMR this year.
Mhm.
But let me see the walking section of it. Is it right here?
I just want to see
Yeah,
Michael try
it's-
to walk and shoot with it. That was the best part.
Yeah, well, this is John, I think. And John is a beastly man. And he actually does manage to walk with it.
Yeah, he was a ranger.
It's so funny. That is wild because I think Micah tries it at one point as well and just cannot do it. It's like not possible. You need to have some mass behind you. Here we go.
I thought he
He's
was
like,
able
"Yeah, I
to, but
need
he
to get a
wasn't able
running
to do it
start."
with a 240 or something like that.
Yeah, so that's the thing is it's shooting 338 at the weight of a 308 machine gun.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is the one thing that I think is fantastic in the NGSW program because this is like you get more capability, you get more ammo, you get further ranges than a 50 BMG, and you get way more ammo and way less weight. That does everything, right? That
Yes,
does all the boxes.
absolutely.
So I mean, the fact that you are shoulder firing a 338 machine gun and it is relatively controllable is wild.
It
Yeah.
also manages the feed system better because the optics are further back and you don't have to deal with the feed tray being as much of a problem as it is with the 240.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, he's trying to walk forward and the gun's recoil is holding him back. It is so funny.
I like that he tries to get a running start for it. He's like, no, I need to give it.
I need some momentum.
Yeah, he's putting his whole body into it. Micah's not a super big guy. He's about my size. Met him at SHOT Show, very nice. But yeah, he's not a huge guy. John is much bigger. But yeah, you need to be probably 200 plus pounds to get that thing to move forward.
I mean, you're talking about the barrel moving. Pretty sure John Moses Browning did that back in like the early 1900s.
Well, that's the thing is if it's just about the barrel moving, that's been used in many different platforms. I mean, shotguns use it. LWRC uses it in their 45 SMG. I'm sure there's other sub guns that use that as well. So I mean, it's something that's been used before for sure.
The M2 does
If you look at the the M2 does as well. Look at the 50 BMG, the Lynx sniper rifle, quote unquote. That has a crazy reciprocating barrel.
Yeah.
That is not a short. Yeah, that's a long reciprocating action, not a short one. Yeah.
And it's extremely violent to shoot.
Yes.
See, now I gotta look.
There's
that
a
one.
reason why we don't use like short action pistols anymore, like the Broomhandle Mauser or the Bergman.
Yeah, no, the Lynx specifically is it's extremely violent.
Kentucky Ballistics just did a video on it like a week ago.
This is the OG video on it that I remember watching this, and I was like, "Wow, I have to have one of these." Where it's just basically a montage of it shooting.
Yeah, you can keep it.
I'm
The
good.
cat
I want
grip
nothing to do
is
with it.
classy on it too.
I'm good on all that. Give me like the Zastava's 50 cal.
Look how wild that is.
So you get two distinct recoil impulses from it.
Yep.
I mean,
You're
the thing is,
literally getting
it does
punched in the shoulder.
It does actually look way worse than a 50 BMG with like just a straight break, whatever the Barrett rifle is.
M99.
Yeah, it just looks way worse than that in terms of its recoil impulse.
I have shot precisely two different 50 BMGs. One was the M99 and the other one was the M107. And the reciprocation on the barrel is just it's so violent. And I seen a couple of guys shooting these. I was like, I have no desire whatsoever to shoot that. None. Like that.
That looks so painful.
It just resets completely reset his shoulder.
Yeah.
Guys, but it's CQB. 50 BMG CQB, guys.
I mean,
No,
like, I know.
Bro,
the
could
Army
you
limits
imagine there are heavy classes for 3-gun with 308 where you only have to fire 1 round at each target. Could you imagine clearing a course of fire the links?
Well, I know the army, like, my brother who was out there, he's like, yeah, we weren't allowed to shoot more than like 70 rounds out of the Barrett because the TBIs. And
Oh,
that
yeah.
had a longer that barrel was further away from you. So can you just imagine the concussion of that fucking
Oh,
thing?
no, it'd be miserable. And just
yeah.
looking at their bodies, it looks like they get punched every time they pull the trigger. Like, it does not look, no part of that looks pleasant whatsoever.
I think the barrel is the barrel and action system on it is like 18 pounds or something.
It
So
weighs
it's
the
even
same
more
amount as
miserable.
a Barrett 50 cal.
What's that?
It weighs the same amount, correct, as a Barrett?
No, Barrett's
the-
32 pounds.
Okay.
Yeah, the barrel itself is slightly shorter on the links than the shortest barrel that they have on the
Mhm.
Barrett.
Barrett.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
So-
the profile is
Whoever-
lighter on this.
Whoever thought that, hey, you know what, we need a compact carryable 50 BMG with a long recoil action, like, nuts that they made it. Just an absolutely wild concept.
Can't believe Keltec didn't come up with the idea.
Mm.
Caltech would do
I
something
don't-
way weirder.
I don't ever want to shoot a Keltec 50 BMG, to be clear.
Yeah,
Made out
they're
of plastic,
9 mil.
plastic and pot metal.
Yeah.
Real question. What would you rather shoot? The PSA pipe bomb 50, I mean their 50 cal or their Keltec 50 cal. What would you rather shoot?
Well, I've had a
What was the
Keltec
first one?
actually explode on me, and I've yet to have a PSA explode on me. So,
My
So you
PSA
would still
wouldn't
take the
chamber
Keltec?
my
still
cha-
take
my-
the Keltec.
Dude, my PSA wouldn't even chamber a cartridge from factory. The bolt wouldn't even close on it, so I couldn't even fire my.
You know
PSA
what?
to no.
So the Keltec is going to be cheap. It's going to be like $2,000 or $3,000 or something like that. PSA was saying that their welded tube of a 50 BMG was going to be $6,000. So it's not even cheap at that point.
Hmm.
I thought they said it was going to be $2,000.
No.
I mean,
PSA.
it could be.
And
I
don't
think
get
in
that
our
big of a
camp-
There's
cal,
single
so-
shot 50 cal uppers for the AR. That's like 1,500, and I know Serbu.
Yeah,
single
his is like
was cheap.
18 or 1900 for his. He was originally at like
Yeah.
14, and then one person made a video, and the price jumped $500 overnight.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And they're, to be clear, they're special order and they're back ordered for like a year and a half.
Yeah, he's busy. The 150 cal I really want is the Zastava. Was it the M93? It's just a Mauser bolt action gun, just scaled up to 50 cal, and
Nice.
that pleases me.
Sorry, I'm listening to Cameron talk about the 50 BMG from PSA, and I'm trying to get to the cost section.
You're fine. Do your time, King.
I believe it was the ARFCOM video with Andrew, where they said that they were going to do it for around $2,000.
That's pretty funny.
Oh my god. I have a photo.
Oh, damn it! He doesn't. He
Good
didn't
job.
say what the cost was. So, he said it was going to be the cheapest 50 BMG on the market, semi-auto 50 BMG on the market, but that's not saying much.
Hmm.
Because I remember somebody saying like $5,000 or $6,000. So it was not. It was not cheap.
What
my
video
gosh.
did you watch?
I'm sorry.
It was one of the interviews there. Was it sub?
No.
Buffman says it was sub 3K. Maybe I'm remembering the number wrong. I have a
I-
tendency to do that.
Let me find it here because I'm pretty sure
didn't know
the
they were making
ARFCOM
50
interview with Andrew. He
Well, see,
said
yeah,
it
see if
was
you
gonna be
can
around
see if you can
2,000.
find it real fast.
I think they said it was going to be like $2,200.
That's
See what I-
wild. If it is, that's funny because didn't they say their 2011 was going to be around that cost as well?
I think they said it was going to be under $2,000.
Under $2,000. Okay. So 6 Hour for $4.99 says Grand now sponsored by Pampers and Gerber baby food. Yeah, he's sponsored a lot of those. Thank you very much for the $4.99, Mr. Sig. Mitchell Black for $1.99 says I wasn't kidding. AAC has shell shock ammo. Do they really? Do they
Old.
sell it like on their website or what? Oh, they do. Gosh dang it. AAC blue can ammo. So they're selling it for about 80 cents a round. So it's even more expensive than the
193?
Badlands for M193.
Okay.
So it's 80 cents a round versus 70 cents a round at Badlands. So I would not spend more money on AAC than I would
But you
on
get a
Badlands.
plastic case with it.
Yeah, you do get a blue plastic case for it. That's nice. But yeah, I know that they actually sold that. So again, they are selling the cases to different manufacturers and allowing them to load their own stuff with it. And if the stuff isn't loaded really hot, there's no purpose in buying it. Because if you buy an NAS3 case loaded to standard pressure, like who cares? Just
No
buy
point,
a standard
yeah.
brass 55 grain bulb. Thank you for the wizard hat, Hawkeye. Appreciate it. Josh for $5 says, if Richard turned on his cam, it would help with the cheerleader effect. Yeah, Richard?
I just don't care for don't
He
care
does
to
it
let
to piss
people
off
see me.
Trench. That's why.
Yeah, at this
Yeah.
point, it's just out of spite.
Yep.
6 hours for $4.99 says we cannot use the words intellectual property in any stream that Trench is a part of. Glass emoji face. Wow.
Damn.
Huge ass for $4.99 says why does everyone previously associated with GT look like a creeper? Hey, that's not true. Charlie looks very normal. How
But
dare you?
Charlie's nice.
Thank you for the $4.99, by the way, huge ass. Jake says OOW Reaper is better. What's the OOW Reaper? Oh, the Ohio Ordinance one. Yeah. But I think that's also using a similar system. If I'm not mistaken, it's a.
I don't know. It just looks cooler, and I want it. And looking cool is what will win the battles.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's a stick with a pistol
Bro.
grip. I fucking love it.
Tube. Welcome back, Sten Gun.
Look at
Bro, I
that.
love how it
Look at
has
my
the Leopold 2.5 to 10. I don't think you can see through the optic when it's that close to his face. I don't think you can actually get a side picture out of that. Yeah, at least it's not backwards. True.
Well, there's not enough height over bore, obviously.
Capable of assaulting any Walmart near you. Minivans, beware. I mean, I do like, actually, the thing that I like more about the SIG version is the lower recoil that it gives you, because this looks way more bouncy than the other one.
Yeah, very.
Mhm.
Yeah, but that's what that short recoil impulse does to you. Thank you for the $1.99, Jake. Appreciate it. Garrett Belknap for $20 says, I make $1, the government takes a dime. That's why I watch Focus Trip on company time. There you go. Well, thank you. I appreciate you siphoning off your work dollars to fund me not working. So thank you very much, Garrett. I appreciate it. I hope you're having a good night, sir. And if you're working this late, I hope you have a good night shift. I know that's not always fun. I used to work as a forklift driver from midnight to but it was like 10 o'clock to like 6 o'clock or something stupid like that. It was night shift. So
Yeah.
as a forklift operator, that was fun. PX 1061 for $2 says absolutely nothing. Thank you for the $2. Good sir. Toss the third for $1.99 says, what about the AK-50? LOL. Is that out yet?
They're taking pre-orders, right?
Are they taking
Are they taking
pre-orders?
pre-orders?
I haven't.
I thought they were taking pre-orders.
I haven't kept up with the whole thing. I know that he's given it to other people to do videos on. Like he's given it to Demo Ranch.
Yeah.
I think Arantham did a video on it when it wasn't finished, but I don't see anything about it actually being up for sale. So, but it's also kind of just a meme gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Grantham video
when I saw
on
him
it.
at Flash Bash, I didn't ask him about it. I probably should have.
The
Did they
Grantham
bring it
video
out?
was the best because he kept calling it the V1 production model and asking for the date and the price on it. And Brandon knew that there was no chance in hell whatsoever. So he was just getting trolled the entire video.
If we look at this is in last year. Where is it? And he says this is the finished, quote unquote, close production model, which looks very, somewhat AK-ish, but I mean,
He's got a website up for it, I thought. He had
Thanks to SDI. Thank you, Brandon. Appreciate that, sir. And TacPack and SDI in the same video. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Tuss the third 409 says, my uncle used to show me his wizard sleeve. Oh no. Oh no. That explains a lot. That explains a lot, Tusk. I apologize. Todd and Dogs for $2 says trench teasing with Sig Tour, just prick tease gay. Yeah, no teasing. You have to go into that facility and show them what's up. Assert yourself right into that facility. Subarctic Psycho for $2 says Hawkeye, can you squat 225 below parallel?
What? What's that?
It just means so your hips have to be below your knees, so that's how you reach parallel when you're squatting. So 225 is 225 pounds. 2 plates is what he's asking. Can you squat 2 plates?
But I could flop squat like a motherfucker though. So
Hell yeah.
that's what
that's all that's important. Huge Ass 49 says Hawkeye touched me in the ball pit. Oh no.
I'll do it again too.
Yeah.
I'll do it again.
Came back for more. You guys are psychos. All right. This is a good little thing to end on. So this gentleman decided to made a comment on my video, because one of the things within my video was that there's a way to reduce the sear contact if you have the improper takedown safety lever or takedown safety bar installed. So basically on the P320, there are 2 different takedown safeties. One is for 9, 40, and 357. The other is for 10 and 45. This gentleman happened to have a 45 caliber that he could test in his 9mm. So I should probably link this video in the chat. He commented on my video and was like, hey, you said this. I tested it and it worked, or in this case, didn't work. So he replaced his takedown safety with the 45 caliber version in his 9mm gun, reassembles it, and in this video, which you guys can't hear, I'll have to transfer the browser. So give me 1 second while I transfer that over to a browser that will actually translate audio to you. That should do that. Stop screen, present, share a new screen. There we are. And here we go. You guys can hear it now, right?
Yes.
Assemble it by moving the takedown lever, but without engaging the slide stop. Now, the takedown safety bar is supposed to hold the sear out of the way while we reassemble it. But let's see what happens. It fired. So what's happening, and I can't show it here really well, but if you take a flashlight, you can actually see that the sear is holding the firing pin tail back by just a very, very small amount. Enough to where if you bumped it, it could slip off. So is that the cause of these uncommanded discharges? It's a possibility. I mean, this is a very real situation that you could come up with. A little contrived, but possible.
So, and again, what happens here is a incorrect part in a 9mm gun, which is what basically all these uncommanded discharges are done. But if you watched the full video, you would know that some of the parts are mislabeled from the factory. So this could be an assembly issue from the factory. This could happen later on down the road. And what it does is it essentially takes all of the sear contact away. So where it's supposed to be, you know, sear here and then the strikers here, instead of doing this, it does this.
Yeah.
So there's just the tiniest little edge of contact.
Edging,
So,
if you will.
Yes, it is edging the sear, which on a 320, the 320 is the one gun that you do not edge the sear contact on. It will absolutely have a premature discharge.
Now, I don't want you to risk your reputation, John, on the words of someone else without having it being tested. But did he actually test the, like, did he fuck with it at all to see if he could actually get that to fire?
This video, he just did what he could there, and he's just a random dude with no YouTube channel. He heard what I said. He's like, hey, I have this part. He tried the test himself, and it worked, or didn't work in this case. I actually have on order. I have all of the parts on order. I have multiple different striker assemblies, and I have the correct and incorrect takedown safeties, and I have my P320 down on the floor right now. I'm going to do all the testing that I can in different configurations to figure out what combination of parts failures you need to induce an ND. And it should be pretty easy to do. So, and I spent a lot of money on a bunch of different combinations of parts to get this to happen, because apparently nobody else has. But, you know, I'll get it done. My stuff's going to be in this week. So Friday, Saturday.
So the order, has it shipped yet?
It will all be here Friday and Saturday. Now,
Okay.
Saturday, I have the sectional championships on Saturday, so I'll be gone all day shooting. I have 10 stages on Saturday to shoot.
Damn.
But early next week, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you know, if I get it to go off Saturday night, I'm posting a video or going live Saturday.
Hell
It
yeah.
is. It's over. So, yeah.
I just wanted to make sure that
It ends today.
wanted to make sure that SIG didn't have an opportunity to intervene and stop the postman from delivering your goodness.
Yeah, no, it's already on the way. Doesn't matter. Not possible. And I didn't order it from SIG. Because you can get the striker assemblies from a variety of online retailers. I got the takedown safety from a different online retailer. You can get all of these parts all on your own.
The
Yeah.
one thing that I would question on that is maybe they were aware of it and they fixed the newer parts. So maybe the newer parts.
I have an old
that are-
gun, so the parts themselves are different, and that's the biggest problem. So, but they look the same, and they have one tiny little difference, and that difference, unfortunately, is a massive reduction in sear contact.
If there's one thing I can say, could I please encourage you to get like a micrometer and just kind of like mic out the parts?
So
like,
if I get it to do what I think it's going to do, it's never going back to SIG. SIG is never touching it, and it is going to a third party who can do all of the measurements and all of the exact testing that needs to be done. All I need to do is get it to go off on camera. That's all I need to do. So my job is pretty simple. Get it to go off on camera. I mean, I don't even need to get it to go off. I just need the sear to drop on camera. And then once that happens, it's like, hey, there's a scenario. I did it. It was easy.
Hell yeah.
It's Hawkeye. It's just catching strays in the chat. Huge ass 499 says, why does Hawkeye blink each eye separately?
It's Morse code. He's trying to tell us that SIG is there holding him hostage.
He's in your walls, son. Tuss the third for 199 says AK guy equals AKA gay K guy. My gosh, that was a tongue twister. Thank you.
I almost had a stroke trying to read that.
Yeah, jeez. Subarctic Psycho for $2 says, what's the circumference of Hawkeye's tiny neck? Hey.
Oh,
some
you
people
want me
got
to do the thing?
long necks. What thing?
Oh, you don't know the thing?
there you go. He's neck
yeah.
mogging you now. Just
Well,
doubles.
that's-
That picture of that the mugshot of that guy where it's just all
where
neck.
his neck does that. Yeah. The Discord server asked me to do that several times now.
That's awesome.
Vintage Welfare for $2 says, I stored my urine in that ball pit. We all did as kids. We all did. Don't worry. It was a communal urinal for all of us.
Was that why they were so salty?
There was many reasons we don't want to get into in this video. 6 hour for 499 says, Hawkeye still the longest playing D&D game ever. Started in the 4th grade. Will end when wizard virginity losing spell works. Aww.
That's awesome.
It doesn't work. That's a spell,
Never
dude.
works.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet.
Mitchell Black 499 says, that's my gay uncle. I don't know which one of us he is referring to, but
I think it was the dude doing the test.
oh, probably the dude. Maybe. Tuss the third for 189 says, my uncle commanded me to discharge. Alrighty. Again, your uncle sounds like a gentleman who would enjoy the wall. But sorry for your childhood. 6 hour 499 says, just like Trench, assembly issue from the factory. Oh no.
We need a chart on how much financial, like the amount of finances that have been dedicated to the stream have been just to diss Trench.
Actually, you know what? We should do that, but for all of the characters, because there's some people that hate Vintage. It's like some people make fun of Bones. If I have Spaz on, people hate Spaz. Hawkeye has earned like $50 this stream easily. I should
and
just
have a AK, dude. People
have a competition. Have a competition set up for who can get the most hate.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it would probably be me because there are so many people that hate me.
Actually, somebody brought up a very good point. Overton is probably in the lead, although he donated $500 for himself.
Damn.
So I don't know if that counts.
That's like insider trading, all right.
Yeah. Peter Shea says, insider trading is good. Richard would win. Richard might win.
I like Richard.
Trench grenades. I think it would be Trench. Honestly, I think it would be Trench.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm pretty sure they hate me.
We gotta
more
do
than
it.
they hate Trench because
No,
I'm
because
here.
we
I'm
we
here
have
all
to
the
keep
time.
track. We would have to. I think it's Trench. I think it is Trench because Trench was on a stream with us when we were talking about GBRS, and people sent like $200 in just one stream, just only bashing Trench. Like, and that's all they did. Where you get a couple strays per stream, but Trench gets like he's gotten like 6 so far or 8 so far.
Well,
It
see,
keeps it
so
going.
Yeah, I was
here's
just
what you do. You just get a stream,
Oh my gosh.
right, with the people who get you the most amount of money, and throw all of us on the stream at the same time, and just call that a good day.
I guess that's so funny. Dude, are you kidding me? Matt Smith just Matt Smith says I got a bunch of Badlands 55 grain ammo and did a bunch of chrono out of my 10.5 416 barrel and got a consistent 3,000 feet per second. Wild. That's cool stuff. Cool stuff, homie. Overweight Windex, terribly tactical, but terribly tactical doesn't come up very often. He's pretty much he's get back. He's off now. Can we get Lucas back on? I think somebody was actually talking to me about Lucas not too long ago, so we might. Although I don't. There's too many things going on at the same time. Jonathan Pacone, Glimmer Pacone, sorry, for $2 says would enjoy a debate on what performance is. Is this the actual Jonathan Pacone? Because I'd be happy to have you on. We already talked. Oh, it is you. Okay, perfect. He texted me. Yeah, I'd be happy to I'd be happy to debate you on what performance is. I don't know what we would disagree on, but it'd certainly be a good discussion.
But what's his pedigree?
The Glimmer Man. I mean, he's the All-American Glimmer Man. He is a North American cryptid.
Awesome.
The Tuss the Third for $4.99 says my uncle was a avid Revolutionary War reenactor for the British. He used to tell me, make ready, aim, and then shoot loads. I think the sequence was off. Unbelievable. Tusk is keeping this joke going about his uncle, man. Your uncle really messed you up. I'm sorry to hear that. Todd and Dogs for $2 says, I just want to see Trench and Mac French kiss. Ugh. That's not an image I ever needed. Thank you. Yeah, yeah. That's an inside thought. Inside thought. Don't say that one.
Doug's probably working on that right now.
No. Huge ass for 199 says, focus. I need ammo dollars. Better get Trench on stream. It's like, we got to drum up some hate. Trench, get in here now. 6 hour 499 says, we heart Richard. He's made us love truck stop bathroom stalls again. Wow. Well, they're rating your performance quite high, Richard. So they do love you for that. Jonathan Limmer Pacone for $2 says, trench grenade equals drill sergeant slick sleeve, which I believe is in reference to no CIB.
That's on the right side of the uniform. You wear your deployment patch if you went to a combat zone, and he, like a lot of other people, including myself, don't have one. Born in the wrong time period for it, to be honest.
Right. So a CIB is something that people wish they had, right? Because it means that you actually went into combat.
So there's, for a moment, there is the CIB, that's Combat Infantryman's Badge, and that means you were in a combat zone and you did some sort of maneuver and like directly engaged enemies' forces in a firefight. That's the CIB. Okay. And then there's, for non-infantry guys, there's something called the CAB, which is similar but a little looser. Combat zone, maybe you received IDF. You can do the same thing as the infantry, but it's a little looser. And then on the right side of your shoulder, there's a spot where you can have a unit patch if you simply went to a combat zone with a unit. So that's kind of the three pieces, is having the combat patch is one, and then having the badge that's worn up here is like the additional flex, kind of.
Oh, dude, that is actually funny. Let me pull this up. I think I should be able to share this tab instead. Pull it here. So Trench Grenade ran a post on his YouTube, just which company do you trust more, Sig Sauron, which is a very good name, or Palmetto State Armory. 80% PSA.
Wild.
There you go.
Sig Sauron's really good too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Putting Mac on the update video right below that poll was.
Did you guys, not to get distracted, but did you guys see the new SIG facility that they built in India? None of you guys saw it?
What's that? Sorry, I heard about it. You're saying.
Sorry, yeah.
building
But did
the
you guys
facility.
actually see the facility itself?
No.
No.
I'll try to pull up a photo real fast. It's very funny.
Is it going to be the actual facility or is it a meme?
No, this is the actual facility that they built in
okay.
India to manufacture all of those parts. I mean,
It just needs a really brown filter over it.
the architecture is striking to say the least. But
Yes.
yeah, crazy work. That's where all of your tax dollars went. It's like, we're gonna rebuild Baradur in India just for the heck of it. I got a dream for a big eye in the sky. Okay, guys.
It's basically already there. It's already a wasteland.
Yeah, I know. It's all it
They'd be
needs is the tower.
improving the place.
It aesthetically, I would love to go to Baradur. That'd be cool. Matt Smith for $10 says absolutely nothing. But thank you very much. I appreciate it. Well, he made the comment before about the Badlands ammunition, which is just good info. Nobody has to super chat, but if you super chat, I can definitely see it. Jake Zorp 109 says, I want to hear Lucas talk about Israel. He will definitely have some takes on Israel, which would actually be a really good conversation because I think he has a good take that is not like so spazzy that it's miserable, right? Because there are some people that just cannot like actually have a real conversation about something. Huge Ass 499 says, find someone who loves you the way Lucas loves Israel. I don't think that's correct. You see some of his takes on Twitter. I don't think that is correct. I don't think he's a big fan personally, but thank you for the 199, Huge Ass. But that's it for the memes and the drama and stuff like that.
Almost. He not quite the main character. I'd say the top villain.
The antagonist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen. But before we get out of here, Bones, what do you got coming up?
I have a video coming out here soon of I've recreated basically my first AR I ever bought when I turned 18. The day I turned 18, I went and bought an AR. And I have kind of realized that I missed that build. Things about it. And I've returned to Monkey and gone over the bell curve and returned to that build and have recreated it. And we'll probably do a video on it.
Nice. Yeah,
Going
because
back to your roots is and tapping into your nostalgia is always fun.
Yes. And it's funny because I spent like 10 years dicking around with like different builds and stuff like that. And I realized I'm like, man, the first AR I ever bought was pretty close to exactly what I want now.
This is Protrabrand just sent me this too. This is something I've seen, but this is the unintentional discharge totals as of 3/20/2025 from the UOF analysis section. SIG P320s 5 and 6 in quarter 1 and 2. Obviously 3 and 4 are blank because we're not there yet. Yep. For a total of 11, which is and what's funny is the P365 also has one somehow. And then one Glock, one long gun, and we don't know the specifics of these. So these are kind of just general numbers, but 86% roughly are SIG P320s and 365s. So that is just if somebody wanted hard numbers on the percentage of one versus the other. Bro, Shannon Sharp's backhand. Wasn't he accused of like beating his girlfriend or something like that? Wasn't that the allegation? That's wild. What a wild name. Thank you, sir. Then Richard sent me something.
No,
I know that this is funny, but this also will get hit for copyright. So I do not want. I'm not going to play this on stream because it will get us hit for copyright. I mean, it can play in the background if you want. It's just people coping and seething. But yeah, the music will get us banned. But yeah, you can see it going off. Jonathan Glimmer Pacone for $2 says Trench, mad respect for calling out SIG. Ben there. Yeah. It is always good to see people keep their integrity, as they say, and not sell out to a simple factory tour and a handbag of goodies. And then they're like, all right, SIG's great. I love them now. Best friends with SIG because they let me feel like a special boy and gave me access. So now I love them. Fresh Peanut Shade for $2 says Trench is to Gary to focus Ash. Trench is to Gary to focus his Ash. Gary's still around. Gary's the radio autist. He was our old producer on here for that, and then Richard kind of took a spot. But Trench is to Gary to focus his Ash. I don't know what that means, but thank you for the $2. I appreciate that. Or are you saying like Ash, like Ashley, like Garantham divorced Ashley, so I divorced Gary? Is that
I
what it
think
is? But is that what that means?
maybe.
Okay. Huh. With Pokemon reference? Your guess is as good as mine. But yeah, as we just watch B-roll in the background of Sig's
Love
various
Sigs.
quality control process.
These
That
are
was a
all
Pokemon reference,
pictures
yeah.
that
Oh, it is a
people
Pokemon
sent
reference, okay.
me.
Yeah.
It's
these are all
Pokemon, you boomer. No, I never got into Pokemon as a kid. I played one of the games on the DS, Red or Blue or something, like one of the earlier games. And then I watched maybe one movie, but I never watched the TV show or played all of them. So I am Pokemon illiterate. Very sorry.
I was retarded.
Yeah, I'll get
Couldn't
bougie and I'll
figure it
pull up my Charizard. So, calm down.
Oh,
Damn.
your holographic Charizard.
Yeah.
A friend of mine had one of those.
Oh, do you actually have a holographic Charizard?
All right.
Oh, he's getting it.
Oh my
He's
god.
getting-
Oh,
A buddy of mine had a golden one. Like the whole card was made out of gold in this case.
Oh, there you go.
I got
It was a
a
collector.
flex. I can afford a Charizard, but not, a microphone. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
oh, wait. Can I? Will it? Looky there. Oh boy.
hold
Uh,
on.
This is
Whoa.
the peak of the stream.
Yes.
These are all
Riveting
my rares.
content.
It's a
We
lot
can
of bad
see
ammo.
nothing.
Very true.
All we see is your glorious hat, sir.
He's looking.
Well,
for
he's
Let the
looking
man
for it.
cook.
Relax.
Oh,
Ew.
There you go.
Oh snap!
In 240p. Beautiful.
Beautiful. No, it's 360, bro. Come on.
Well, blame Samsung. I can't help it.
Pay the sucker says I'm a Rob Hawkeye. You just doxed your valuable possessions on stream. Like I'm gonna find you. All right, homies. Hawkeye, what do you got coming up? What do you want to shout out before we get out of here?
I'm gonna be doing a live stream on Clayco 47s. We still need to settle. It should be this week. Light stuff happened with some of the people that were going to be on stream, so that'll be going on soon. And my website will be up soon. I'm taking product photos.
Heck yeah,
Which is
awesome.
fun.
That's very fun.
Remind us
my
who
website
was
Wait a
will be
second.
on-
Wait a second. Does that say made in India on those 6-hour packages?
Oh, it does.
Oh, that's wild.
Whoa.
Mm.
It does
Oh,
on
bro.
several of them. I mean,
For several different parts? What?
yeah.
That's wild.
And
And
then,
then
I,
the
of
Nut
course,
and
had
Fancy
to roll
Classic.
in the Nut and
Yeah.
Fancy.
Oh, I like Nut and Fancy.
Me too. But yeah, this is showing the Sig Cross going off on its own. Absolutely wild. Huge ass for 199 says Turbo's AIDS. Gotta catch them all.
Oh yeah, None Fancy did talk about that. I remember seeing that in his video.
Turbo AIDS?
No, the fucking
What the fuck?
him hitting the lever on that Sig and it going off. Or the bolt.
Yeah, just completely going off on its own.
Yeah,
Then
that's
after he touches the bolt and then it
Yeah,
shoots.
yep.
Wild.
Hell
That
yeah.
is mega
Nice.
disconcerting.
I couldn't think of a worse scenario to have for a bolt gun than to have your trigger drop the sear, but the sear not fall all the way until you go to open the frickin' bolt.
I think the trigger was like dead or something. There was something very bad going on there. Very, very bad.
Yeah,
s-
the trigger was dead, but it would drop the sear off of the trigger and then it would hang up on the bolt itself until you
Oh, is that
moved
what it
the
was?
bolt. Yeah, it
Hmm.
was actually dropping the trigger, or it was actually dropping the striker off of the sear, but it wouldn't actually fall all the way.
Mhm.
So that video is one of the top ones on the channel. So if you guys want to see it, it's fun. I put some Benny Hill music over it. It
Hell
got
yeah.
copyright, but it was worth it. It was fun.
6 hour 499 says I can smell the patchouli oil in Hawkeye's bedroom through my TV. You guys are funny. All right, gentlemen. Well, Richard, what do you got coming up?
Just going to be making more clips to hopefully get on the radar of old guard gun tubers like Mac and Focus or not Focus.
Focus.
Oh, 'cause
Forgotten-
I'm the old guard now. Listen
He's
up,
up
man.
there.
I'm the old man now.
For
Look at
Forgotten
me.
Weapons. I am retarded.
Ah. That's all right.
It's Amnesia Firearms, sir.
Yeah, well,
You're a retarded faggot.
but to me,
to myself. Self-inflicted.
Sig inflicted.
Sig inflicted. Oh fuck.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just reading
Yeah.
chat.
Fine.
All right, gentlemen. I
right.
hope you all have a wonderful night. Thank you to the guests for coming on here, talking about ammo, SIG, and a bunch of other unrelated topics just for fun. Thank you for your kindness and generosity, hanging out, watching, liking, commenting, subscribing, all that fun stuff. I hope you guys have a wonderful night. And yeah, thanks for being here. So with all that out of the way, gentlemen, thanks again so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. God bless. Now for